We find ourselves in the middle of the pack. I've qualified in P6 roughly, and I practice this track quite a lot. However, I am on the right-hand side of the track, which is unusual, so I don't quite see my braking point. I miss it ever so slightly, and I overshoot. Sorry, everyone. I didn't ruin anyone's race, really, but I did bonk one of the cars, and that bonked into another car, and then they lost the position. I accept my fate. I do rejoin safely at the end of the entire field. That was my mistake, and I didn't want to rejoin in the middle of everyone. It is only lap 1, so I accepted my fate of being last, and I make my way through here. But we are making up some spots, some positions immediately again as other cars go off track, and I do know that based on my timings in qualifying and my practice, I do have a good chance of being somewhere in the points. That's at least my anticipation and my hope, and I'm braking a little bit earlier here so I can make my way around this turn. On the cold tires still, it's always a thrill to go through here on cold tires. Any car is a thrill in cold tires in iRacing. I love it. I wish I could be practicing only on cold tires to get better at it. But here we are. Now we've caught up to the field in a second here because there's someone's gone off, and that causes the entire field to slow down and back here. And that is good for us because we can now catch up. I don't know where to overtake here, so I'm just hanging back to see what happens. It means that we can go around here on the outside, different line than would be ideal, but there we go, we've made our up at another position, and we're now behind them. This time now the tires are getting a little bit warmer, and they have a more traction and grip, so I'm feeling a little bit more confident, but gently pressing the brake pedal a little bit later than before. Also, I'm on the left side of the track, just I can look at my braking references much more clearly at the right angle as well. We're catching up to the cars ahead, they're battling it out with each other, so we do have the chance to get closer. While you're here, thank you very much for watching, welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the like and subscribe button, it helps the channel grow, and I would very much appreciate it. What you find here is my journey through iRacing. I've made it over the Mazdas a couple months ago, I've tried the GT4s, I've recently discovered this particular car, and I love it. And now we are catching up. Oh, that was reasonably close, not too bad. It gets a little closer and dicier a little bit later, but we're sticking with them. We have this group of 3 cars ahead of us. They're going to be our main target. I've made it back up to position right around 11, 12, 13, somewhere around there. And the hope and the goal is to make it into the points. Some more dust on the side, this car's gone off. Stays out of the way, off the racing line, which is great, awesome, thank you very much, appreciate it. That allows us to go around and make our way through here. I've overshot this one, so again, just making sure I look at my relative and I don't go straight back onto the track, making sure I don't ruin anyone's race. That's my main goal. I want to drive as cleanly as possible and not ruin anyone's race. I notice I'm much slower, so I go off the racing line myself, and then once I've gotten back up to speed, I rejoin the proper lines. Braking gently, gently, gently. I discovered that this car, if I do brake more controlled and more gently, it actually brakes a lot faster and quicker than if I slam the brakes. That's the fun of learning different cars in iRacing. They all react differently, they are all different cars, and you learn new skills by driving them. Now I'm going to be consistent and practicing. I did map a button to my windshield wiper. I'm very proud of that because now I can actually see and don't have to wait for the automatic ones to turn on. Great, trying to be consistent here, going on the inside, letting go of the brakes and accelerating. I want to practice accelerating earlier as well as braking in a way where I carry more speed through the corner. Those are my goals for this particular car, as well as understanding at what point the brakes sort of do their thing. Might be ABS, I don't know. But I want to learn where they kick in and avoid that, because I find it's more controlled if I brake less. Going through here at a reasonable distance to the car ahead, we have a slightly wide exit there, no off tracks, so that's fine. Into the draft behind the car, it's going to be in the middle to defend. This is fair. Now it's going on the right, we're going on the left. I've made my intention clear, I'm going on the left, the car's on the right. Has the inside line, and we brake a little bit later. We're both being very considerate here and stable where we are putting our car on the track. So I do switch it up, there's room behind, and I'm trying to go on the outside here, but that has allowed the car from behind to make its way onto the inside, and I do give way to that car. Again, we're both giving each other plenty of space here. But that's something to keep an eye out. Turn 1, trying to overtake the car. on the outside, failing at it, and then a third car from behind is overtaking that particular car as well. That's going to be a theme that we have to keep an eye on. It seems like a good place to do that, and when you notice that on other cars. So I have to learn that. Now we've fallen a little bit behind, just trying to get our composure again, trying to figure out what these cars are doing ahead. Can I keep up with them? I'd love to stay in their draft and move us further forward altogether. But now I've fallen behind and the car is right behind me. That means I need to nail this particular last turn here. Just tapping the brakes and releasing, then turning in. Nice. I like that one. That was a good one. Also, while I still have your attention here, if you do know how to make the colors more vibrant, do let me know in the comments. I'm using DaVinci Resolve for this, the free version. And I have looked everywhere, tutorials that I can think of, and different settings to make the colors more vibrant and pop a little bit more. Can't figure it out. So, I mean, it's a little bit better than before, but do let me know if you have the immediate knowledge that lets me know where to look up, how to get this sorted, and make the colors better. The cars in front always seem to be dipping their wheels into the gravel. I'm currently not. Maybe I should to make it go faster, but, well, so far it is what it is. We're getting closer. This corner here I seem to be nailing quite nicely, although the exit here was a little bit wide. Still, again, nuances to iron out on every single turn, and that's what's keeping me behind at the moment. I wonder, and I think if I hit this particular series of corners correctly, I can go flat out through all of this. But that happened maybe twice in this particular race. So these two times when I hit that last right turn correctly and I could go full out, that was beautiful. And I felt very good about that. On the other hand, now this other car here did swing too wide into the gravel and we gained another position. So yes, as I was saying, once I do hit the turns correctly, it feels very nice. Very good. Doesn't even matter which position I'm getting. Alright, on the inside here, trying to go around, watch the car behind. The other car, not us, was trying to go around us on the outside. That's what we did just a lap before. And the third car behind makes its way to the inside now and is going to take that position. So, overtaking on turn 1 on the outside is not going to work. We have 2 data points here for that. Maybe it works for you, but for the skill level that I'm at and my peers here in this particular split, it does not seem to work. And the third car is always going to gain another position. I did not notice this during the race, but now that I've reviewed it, I do notice it. And this is why I like my race recaps for myself personally, because if I review them and make a video out of it, that forces me to rewatch it and I can actually learn something. I pick up 1 or 2 things for every race recap that I do for myself, and I try to incorporate those lessons into the next race. Just trying to get better step by step, slowly and consistently. Again, going a little bit wide on the last turn, but it's not an off track, so that seems to be alright for me, I think. Let me know in the comments whether that is the correct line to take, or if it should be tighter and not going outside the bounds there a little bit, even though we're still on track technically, it's not an incident point. The same group of people is still behind us. We seem to be swapping spots every once in a while, every couple of turns. We have another group of 2 cars in front of us, so that's roughly where we're going to stay. Overall, we're hanging out right around the 10th spot, plus or minus a few, depending on which lap we're on precisely. And again, for me in this particular race, this is my second race in this particular car. And I don't know how many races I've done on this track in different cars as well, but I did practice this a lot in time trials as well as just test drives, because in test drives I think I can take a little bit more risk and experiment than in the time trials. So there we go, and through here consistently I'm trying to get on the throttle and remember to keep the steering input roughly the same, because it's the radius of the corner is roughly staying the same, so you should be able to go through here with not changing anything. And then this one, just trying to get on the throttle as quickly as possible with lifting before turning the wheel in, as that seems to be shifting the weight forward down onto the steering. So that's at least what I'm feeling in the car at my skill level. That's what I think. Going too wide through that last turn, it did work out, but it also did mean that we were both a little bit slower than we could have been. The car is going left, right, trying to defend, and we are doing the same. I was just watching recently a video of another one who's very good at the iracing. Car's going off straight into the barrier ahead of us, so okay, we make another spot. And he said that if you're the car following, you can pretty much try to confuse the car in front of you as long as you're not causing anything to go seriously wrong. So here we are, we've lost another spot being on the outside there, so my theory seems to be somewhat correct, perhaps, about turn 1 and where to position the car for overtakes to actually work out well. But now the group of us here, 3 of us, is again trying to go through. Oh, barely made it. Still controlled the car successfully, not slamming into anyone. That was a bit too tight. They also did brake a little bit earlier. I should have anticipated that, but fortunately I did manage to slow the car down just in time. Car here goes off on the left. That is unfortunate for them. The other third car there goes in front. And we cannot get around. Maybe I was too passive. Let me know in the comments if I should have just pushed forward here, or if I did the right thing and just being patient. Trying to hit the corner here correctly again, just briefly off the throttle, tapping the brakes, and we go fairly wide again, but no off track again, like I said, so this seems to be alright. Car has peeled off into pits. Not sure why, maybe they got some damage. And now we do have to catch up to this particular car. I'm going to hit my braking points consistently. We're having a good race so far. Reasonable amount of incident points for myself in terms of off tracks and anything else in the beginning of the race. And I have some good cars that are a little bit better than me in front of me and around me in general, so whenever they are in front I do have the ability to learn something from them. Whether it's in a particular corner or particular types of exits of corners or entries, always trying to watch for other drivers and seem to learn and pick up some of their skills from them. They did overshoot a little bit. Another car, a third car in front of us did have a moment. We're now trying to figure out how to get around them because they're very slow. Trying to get back up to speed and of course perhaps being a little bit startled, needing to catch themselves again and settle down. We do make it around. Very good here, excellent, back on the throttle, a little bit slower than usual. But off we go. I don't want to overtake them before this particular turn, so I'm trying to nail the exit here. I'm saying back just because if I'm following them directly, I can see if they are having an issue and going off track just like this. That allowed me a little bit more reaction time to back off from them, hit the brakes ever so slightly, and then make it on, stay on track, and have a faster exit. Now that has meant for me that I am in the lead. Trying to hit my braking points consistently and correctly. Now that I have 2 cars behind me, of course with that pressure I do mess it up. And both of them go past me. So both the psychological pressure and the actual skill development for the driving parts for the different cars is something that is going to continue to grow and increase. It's a skill development aspect of it that I like in particular. Again, trying to go around here, braking, having a different line. I think I'm going to try out the lines of the car in front of me just to make it wider, not being so narrow on the inside, but trying to get into the corner more from the outside. That seems to be faster. Trying to have a consistent steering angle here. Gearing up, messed up the shifting a little bit, too far on the curb, unsettles the car. And because of that, we've fallen behind. So the little errors do compound through here noticeably, and that's alright. It's a learning experience. This corner, I make my way through here very well. I'm very happy with that, except I had only one incident there. And now the goal is again to catch up faster. This is the full race recap. I will post a highlighted, a highlight and shortened version of this as well, where all the boring bits are cut out, so that it goes from action scene to action scene. Another car had us struggle through that particular turn 1. They did a little switcheroo of who's in front, and because of that, we're again catching up to them. Overall, this is very enjoyable for me to drive because we're keeping it clean, all of us here. We're roughly at a similar skill level. Each one of us is slightly better at particular turns than the other, so we have something to learn, we have something to regain advantages of. They're now making a move on the bottom of this hairpin turn. They're making it stick. Well done. And I do love that everyone keeps it clean and respectful, even when we go too wide through particular turns, certain turns, we do keep it clean and give each other plenty of space and room. This is how it should be. Over the last couple of weeks, there was a lot of chaos, comparatively lots of chaos. Maybe I don't know why, but it seems to be, I seem to have been a magnet also for attracting chaos around me. Okay, that car again, we've done the same thing. We stayed back a little bit, saw that the car goes off track, and then backed off early enough to still keep the car on the road, and we've gained another position. Anyways, this is a wonderful, clean race. I love it. I did overshoot on the very first lap, but that was a mistake, and unfortunately did not have any severe consequences for anyone, so that was alright. And I do apologize, so that was my mistake. I own up to that. Alright, now, back to it. The field here, or the couple of drivers around us have lightened up a little bit. There's more room, backwards and forwards. So that means I need to put my head down and put the throttle down. Full throttle here, gearing up right before the turn. Excellent, braking. Trying to brake a little bit later here if I can stomach it, although I did overshoot it a little bit, but still kept it on the track in the previous attempts. Trying to make my way closer to the other car. I did put on a delta in my own driving. I like the delta compared to the optimal sector timing so that I know where I'm going and how I'm doing. Sometimes I hit the button by accident and it moves it forward to, I think, optimal lap time. Still fine. Okay, going through here, a little bit more cautious. Wonderful, wonderful. That's the end of the race. We made it to P9. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for being on this particular journey with me. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.